All right. Should we get started for today? I'm pretty excited to see what happens with the Azure App Service because Azure's App Service should be really cool and you can host all sorts of different web apps on there and it's very, very super scalable. It'll be really cool. To anybody that isn't too familiar with coding or anything, this is what the Azure App Service does. It basically means that you can put a website that requires like processing and computing stuff on the back end. That means things like databases, things like APIs, that kind of stuff you can't just put up as like a static web page. But the app service, what this does is for APIs, all the different like websites that have like shopping carts, for instance, or like things that have moving pieces that server needs to track. All of that stuff requires another server that processes and crunches those numbers, remembers those things, and that you can host. And so generally you need like a server to host it, but with Azure App Service, you can have 10 of them, up to 10 of them for free and try it out. Is there a good place to understand all the different things available in Azure? Yeah, I think it's azure.microsoft.com. Here it is. So Azure has a bunch of different things. They go from everything from like AI driven services to hosting, to processing, to storage. And so they're more like different categories and they're all under the same name as Microsoft Azure because it basically has to do with the cloud. Let's see, we have an Azure account, so it should be pretty easy. Like you can just sign into Azure through Visual Studio Code and that uses the Azure App Service extension. Let me see if I can get it up and running. Is running. Can I close this workspace? I guess we might work with Visual Studio Code today. All right, let's try this. We can sign in. I'm gonna go through this real quick so then we can know exactly how this works. Okay, we got it all set up. And so now I think we're ready. If you don't have an Azure sign up today, and we did that already, we need Visual Studio Code along with Node.js and NPM. We have that. And you need the Azure App Service. We got all of the extensions installed except for the Azure App Service. This is the one that we needed. This is the one that we needed. All right, let's install it. We got this. And then now we have to sign in. Sign in to Azure. Ooh. You're signed in. Now you can close this page. Okay, it worked. Prerequisite check. Making sure you have all the prerequisites and installed and configured. So we did that. You should see in the Azure email address in the status bar and your subscription in the Azure App Service Explorer. Let's try this. All right, here we go. In the VS Code. Now you should see your Azure email address. I see it. Azure email address way on the bottom. Kabam. It's got all the things and your subscription. Now we gotta create our Node application. Let's do this. Next, create a Node.js application that can be deployed to the cloud. Quick Start uses an application generator to quickly scaffold out the application from a terminal. Let's do it. What are we gonna build? I guess we can build whatever we want. We should build like a Merry Christmas website or something. That would be cool, right? Let's create a repository. What should we create today? We need any sort of app service idea that we want. What if we had a squirrel counting API and put it on app service? Why don't we do that? What if we did something pretty useful? Like just like simple but useful. Like let's call it counting squirrels. And then every time you ping, like we'll make a service where you can create any sort of named counter you want and then you just like count it up and up and up and up and up. I think that would be great. It'd be fantastic. So we can bet on things like how many squirrels you'll have. Because then we can also make a web page out of it and make it really easy. And so let's try it. Git ignore template will be Node, and the license we'll say it's an MIT license. A counting API to test Azure App Service with Node.js. Hiya! Once we get it working, then we can do anything we want. All right, so now that we have this, here's what we'll do. We go to counting squirrels, found it, in an opening command prompt, kabababam. Here we go. Initialize it, npm init, version 1, squirrel, counting, service. We'll say count, squirrel, Instafluff. So many squirrels. We're gonna install web instead of Express because it's like super simple. Scaffold a new application with the Express generator and run the application. So we're gonna create one. So let's see. Can we do this? Oh, it worked. So then I'll need this because I actually just opened it directly in here. Wow, no package without 1,000 dependencies. Can you believe it, Fer? Can you believe it? Well, now that we installed, so we can do npm install directly in here. This is seamless. This is so great. All right, we're gonna create const web step. We run this, and then we'll say web.apis. We're gonna say squirrel. I'm gonna save this as index.js, and now it's got glowy code. That's it. Now it should be running already, which means localhost 3000. Oh look, it worked! Would you look at that? That's what we have to do. We have a Node.js API app. Holy moly. So now we can deploy to Azure. You choose a directory and create a new web app. Okay, let's try this. Uh-oh. Oh no. I put it onto the wrong monitor, y'all. So now we go here. I think that's it. It opened in a completely different tab than I expected. Oh, here we go. It's at counting squirrels.azurewebsites.net. Now every time we refresh, it's like everyone is adding to the squirrel count. We gotta get to 1,000, right? Gotta get to 1,000. We're over 1,000. Wow. This is how you can create a counter on an Azure web service. How many lines of code is this? It's 9 lines of code. Look at that. Okay, I have an idea. It should work. I can bring up the console login here, right? So I can do npm. There's config.js, and so now we do config.js, but on chat. 2 squirrels. It's working. It's connected to chat, which means we should be able to go to chat, right? There's been 6 chat messages since this has deployed. Everyone, put in your favorite emotes. We'll see it count up. 7 messages. Oh, snap. 10 messages, 11 messages. This is gonna be cool. I can't believe it works. This is really cool. This is all we have to do. With 21 lines of code, now we can count the number of squirrels and chat messages. All right, I think the next thing we gotta do, we gotta save these out to a file next. So then we'll actually be able to load the count and then increment it and then save it back. Right now we don't store anything, we just store it in memory. We just have chat count and squirrel count. We'll do this. We'll do const fs equals require fs. That's file service. We want to read file sync, and then we'll be like, okay, we parsed everything. Now you can see what it looks like. We can put chat count in there. We could even put a command that just says like save this count, and then do it. Let's do it. I like it. Save the squirrel. And then we'll be like fs write file sync. It'll be super simple, just like that. So now it is working. I think it's working. We'll store a counter for each command. We'll be like, all right, commands, if counts. Oh, it's working. Reported a critical error. I think it just took a long time. It looks like it saved it. There's no errors or anything. It's working. It just took a little bit of time to deploy, but now it's working. Oh, I wonder. Let's see. We'll store a counter for each command. If counts. If we don't have commands, we do that here, and then we're like, we have to deploy one more time. Dang, we're deploying all the things. So then we could even see how many times people have done exclamation point drop and stuff too. This is really cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to use this for everything. I want to do one last thing with this, which is I want to see if we can put a web page, because we got the app service and we created APIs for it. If we can create an entire like web service for it, then it's gonna be even better. So let's do a bootstrap page. Ooh, I need coffee. This is all we have to do. H1. All right, let's see if we can finish this. So I guess we'll just be like, hey, JSON counts. Here we go. This is what it's gonna look like. Yeah. It's gonna be a web page. Whoa, it's gigantic. But now, check it out. We got the chat counts and everything. Counts. All right, let's see. This should work. It worked. This is a web page that calls the API and then says the chat has 44 chats and 1 squirrel and commands, and it's got all the different commands. And so, wow. And so now we're going to go to Azure. We're going to deploy this. Deploy. We got an entire web app that counts squirrels in our channel. Now we have a web page for it and everything, but you can see the counts and the APIs are here. Think it's working. We did get something working today. We got a bunch of stuff working. Look at this. I can't believe the Azure App Service works like this so well. Thank you again so much, everyone. We'll see you next time. stay fluffy, stay comfy. Thank you all so much. Bye!